And tonight, we're going to start this meeting. We have the roll call first.
We're going to establish the quorum for the executive committee. Peter Jolly, Victor Destraps, Tony Ioria.
Do we have a
We
quorum?
have a quorum of the executive committee.
Thank you very much. I want to call on Brother Blake to give us a prayer.
Thank you, sir. We ask stand, please. Close our eye. Oh God and our Savior and our King, we thank you for this hour. We thank you for this moment. We thank you for this gathering of your people in a community. We thank you for the love that you have toward us, oh God. We thank you, oh God Almighty, that you be the center of this meeting this afternoon. Oh God, let every heart and every mind speak right. Oh God, we are in your presence, and in your presence are holy. We bless you right now and we glorify your name. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Blake. Please remain standing. I have the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You sit. Does everybody copy of the agenda tonight? Well, I guess you have to share. We made 70 copies. This is fantastic. So we have maybe 300 people here. We have a copy of the agenda up front, right there at the back. If you don't have one, follow with the person next to you. Okay? Thank you very much. At this point, Mr. Val Ramos will be doing most of the talking this evening. So, Mr. Val.
Thank you. First of all, we want to read something, which is the declaration of action by the membership of the Association of Poinciana Villages, Inc. On behalf of the members of the Association of Poinciana Villages, Inc., the President of the Master Board of Directors, in conjunction with like-minded members of the board, has taken measures necessary to secure the common property and financial solvency of the association. Great care has been given to ensure that, in accordance with the advice of the legitimate counsel of the Master Board, these actions have been undertaken with respect to the rules outlined in the bylaws and resolutions of the Association of Poinciana Villages. We embark upon this path in direct response to evidence of a financial crisis caused by the gross mismanagement of membership. It's not scrolling. There it goes. Of membership assessments and the funds of the association. Therefore, let it be known that the President and his allies intend to sustain the following temporary course. First, the Executive Committee has convened in order to address the executive business of the Association of Poinciana Villages in the absence of a functional Master Board. Second, a new association manager has been appointed to work with the Executive Committee to reestablish administrative responsiveness to the interests of association members and to restore stability to our financial situation. Third, steps will be taken to reform the electoral process, ensuring that residents have control over the direction of their community. The Executive Committee shall continue to follow up on this course until justice on behalf of our members has been achieved in court, financial stability has been returned, and new elections can be held to establish full member control over the master board. With these objectives in mind, we humbly submit to the judgment of this community. First of all, probably most of you will ask, where do you get the authority from? I will ask you to please follow me with the package that you all received. And the first thing that you will see is Resolution 1099. Resolution 1099, and the 99 stands for the year that it was created. It was created in October of 1999. Basically, hands the executive committee the right to direct the association while the board is not in function, okay? It states right there, now therefore be it resolved that beginning upon the date of this resolution and until otherwise provided by resolution of the Board of Directors, the executive committee between the meetings of the Board of Directors and while the Board of Directors is not in session shall have all of the powers and exercise all the duties of the Board of Directors in the management of the business of the association, which may be lawfully delegated to the executive committee by the Board of Directors. You will hear that we will put a lot of emphasis on that little word, shall. I was an English teacher. Shall is you're obligated to. You will. You must. Remember that. So that's where they derive the authority to take the actions that they have taken. Next, you will see in your package that letters were sent out to the management of the APB terminating their functions. Everybody following me? Do you want us to read that? Read it?
Some of us don't have copies of that.
Oh,
We'd like
okay.
to have a copy.
I'll read it. I'll read it.
How come
It
you
was
can't
sent
give us
August
copies?
17th.
How come you can't get copies for us? Some of us don't need copies of this. Thank you so much. Thank you, I have one.
August 17, 2015, reference termination. Dear Mr. Maldonado, pursuant to a duly called meeting of the Executive Committee, it has been decided that your services are no longer required. Effective immediately, First Service Residential is no longer the manager for the Association of Poinciana Villages. You are directed at your earliest convenience, but no later than 5 business days, to turn over all records, credit cards, keys, and property of the association. Further, pursuant to paragraph 2.3 of the management contract dated February 12, 2013, your company is entitled to 30 days notice prior to termination. The APB will continue to pay for your services for 30 days from the date of this letter. However, you are to cease all work immediately. We shall only pay those fees that were contractually agreed to in the February 12, 2013 contract. Please conduct yourself accordingly. And it was signed by Peter Jolly, President of the Association of Poinciana Villages. Next, you will find also a letter that was addressed to Thomas Layton, Esquire. Again, reference termination. And it reads, Dear Mr. Slayton, the APB Board of Directors never properly accepted your contract. Therefore, no formal termination is required. However, to be clear, your services are not required. The association and the people of Poinciana already have legal counsel. Please conduct yourself accordingly. And again, signed by the President of the APB.
Now, I just want to make a clarification. This termination was effective as of August 17, 2015. Now, as you all know, that our property has been taken over, hostile takeover, I would say, on the 20th. Was it 20th?
Yes.
The 20th. This was all done illegally. Illegally. This is trespassing, and we intend to pursue the matter after we resolve the issue on Friday with the court.
Next in your package, you will see the 1985 agreement and violations of it. You will see that there is a page 6 that reads, control after January 1st, 1991. And it reads, beginning on January 1st, 1991, when any vote is taken by the board of directors of any association having avatar directors, avatar shall cause all avatar directors to initially abstain until all resident directors of such association present have voted or abstained or otherwise declined to vote, at which time avatar shall cause all avatar directors to vote in the same manner that a majority of the voting resident directors of such association have voted. Again, they are obligated to follow this. This has been our direction for 30 years. They shall cause their votes to be held, and they shall vote with the majority of the resident directors. Nowhere there does it give them the power to break a deadlock. There is no majority. Therefore, there is no vote from avatar. That's number one. First violation, when avatar voted to break the tie. Second, this board has tried to call on all of the rest of the directors to meet to discuss these very issues, and they failed to show up. So I will read you what it says on quorum. Avatar shall use its best efforts to attend all association members' meetings and to cause all avatar directors to attend all association directors' meetings, if necessary, in order to obtain a quorum at such meeting. Shall. Not, well, today I don't feel like it. No, shall. Okay? Now we're going to get to some of the things that this management company has done that goes against your best interest. You will find the very next page, there's a little asterisk where it says proof of notice. Everybody there? I will read what it says. It says, proof of notice. Proper notice was posted at the bulletin board by the entrance of the administration building on July 24th, 2015. You all see that, right? Yes. Flip your page and you will find an email that comes out on Monday, July 27th. And what it reads there is, Dear Director to the Board, reference a legal counsel for APV. The legal committee is requesting a special board meeting. I will need a majority of the board to agree to call this meeting on Monday, August 3rd, 2015 at 11 a.m., I'm sorry, at this building. Please advise me if you will be attending this meeting in person, if you will need to be set up by a telephone conference. If so, please provide me with a telephone number where you can be reached.
Okay. Right, okay.
So, if they're looking to establish a quorum on July 27th, how could they possibly post notification on July 24th? There you have how they try to circumvent everything. If you could hold your... Go ahead.
You're out of the papers, so we can follow along with you. If we have some of the papers. Not just myself, it's on the track.
Well, First of all,
We're gonna try to get more. We have put out a lot of papers.
Can we make copies here? Can we can?
That's normal.
I don't think they got enough people back there.
There's one here. They can have that back there. I'll take it.
And really, we are glad that we ran out of these papers because it shows that more people than we expected showed up. We're trying to make more copies for you.
Can we share? Because I see people sitting next to each other with the same package. Let's share. Because we printed 70 sets. Now each set is 19 pages. And each page costs 20 cents. They run out of paper. Okay, let's proceed.
May I proceed? Okay. Next on your agenda.
Hold it. Can I get your attention, please? Thank you very much.
Next on the agenda, you will see auditor's note, first flag on finances. And when we say first flag, we mean first red flag. And it reads, change of opinion. Now, these are auditors, and they're saying there is a change of opinion. The previous issued audit report dated October 31st, 2014 was issued containing a modified opinion. The reason for the modified opinion was the asset inventory documentation provided by management was insufficient to allow the auditors to verify items listed to a physical observation. Subsequently, management completed a fixed asset project which was underway when the audit report was issued. The completion of this project provided documentation with which the auditors completed the physical inventory procedures. As a result of the above stated substantive reasons, the auditor's opinion for the year ending December 31st, 2013 has changed to unmodified. It means like the books didn't quite jive. Okay?
Books don't jive.
In other words, there is no transparency.
Next, you will find an opinion issued by a CPA on August 24th, 2015. Mr. Jolly, yeah. In response to your request, I have read the independent auditor's report. Now, this is a CPA. It's not Mr. Jolly. It's not Mr. Deschamps. It's not the attorneys. This is a CPA. And the notes to financial statements for the Association of Poinciana Villages for the period ended December 31st, 2013. I have also read the same sections of the auditor's draft for the period December 31st, 2014. It is the goal of any business entity to obtain an unqualified, clean audit report. An unqualified report is assurance from the auditor that financial statements of the business comply with relevant statutes and standards. The auditor is providing assurance that material facts are properly disclosed. Most important, the auditor is providing assurance that there is clarity and transparency in the financials. On the other hand, a qualified auditor's report is an indication that the auditor was unable to complete all aspects of the audit. There can be a variety of reasons why an auditor was unable to perform all audit procedures. In the event all procedures cannot be completed, the auditor must use his or her professional judgment to determine if those reasons are considered material and pervasive. Because APB's auditor, and he names the auditor, issued a qualified audit opinion for 2013 and seems prepared to issue the same for 2014, it can be concluded that the auditor was unable to perform all of the audit procedures but still feels the financial records and internal controls do not warrant a disclaimer of opinion or adverse opinion. However, the auditor did feel it was appropriate to insert a disclosure note with the heading Note 13. Contingencies, accounting records. The reason for the contingency is reported as, and I quote, a failure to perform reconciliations of significant accounts. Think of that. The note cites a failure to reconcile bank accounts. Think of that. And subsidiary ledgers of accounts receivable in a timely and accurate manner. By inserting this note, the auditor has acknowledged that the company could be facing a financial liability that is either reasonably possible or probable. The amount of the liability, if any, cannot be determined and may not be material. However, at the very least, this note should serve as notice to the members and the board of APB that the accounting procedures and records are inadequate, and the auditor has expressed caution by adding this note. It is not within the scope of an audit, nor would it be appropriate for the auditor to bring the accounting records up to date, reconcile bank accounts, and tie subsidiary ledgers to the general ledger. It is the responsibility of APB, therefore the board, to ensure that the accounting records are adequate and up to date. It is with a sense of urgency that I recommend the board take appropriate steps to resolve the accounting issues. I recommend that the board retain an outside professional to obtain the accounting records for the past 2 to 3 years and complete the work of reconciling the accounts. In order to provide a favorable public perception and high level of confidence in the work that is performed, a certified public account would be preferred. This professional should have no relationship whatsoever to APB, its members, the board, its management company, or any of its affiliates. Neither should there be any relationship to current, former, or prospective employees of APB or its management company and their affiliates. Except for a just compensation for his/her services, this CPA should have absolutely nothing to gain or lose by the work he or she is performing. Next, I recommend APB take a close look at the internal controls. If you accept my first recommendation, the CPA you retain can help you with that task. Third, I recommend you take a look at the level of competency of the accounting staff. I realize that the accounting for the last couple of years has been handled by the management company and their employees. In order to adequately fulfill its fiduciary responsibilities, I believe accountability and oversight needs to reside with the board. Accordingly, the accounting staff should be answerable to the APB. If this task is to remain with a management company, then I strongly recommend the APB have an internal auditor with full and unrestricted access to the accounting records of the management company. This auditor needs to be independent of the management company, employed by and answerable to the board, and only to the board. Last, I have assumed that the auditor and the board have received full cooperation and disclosure from the management company. If there is any uncertainty on this matter, I recommend you retain the services of a forensic accountant. In cases where mediation or litigation is involved, a forensic accountant's services can prove invaluable. I hope you find my thoughts and analysis helpful. And I think Mr. Jolly could talk a little bit about a forensic audit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been fighting for a long time. I came on the board in February, and immediately I noticed something wrong with the finances. And I made certain requests to the management company on our finances, and they refused to give it to me. So I ended up going to the state, asking them to intervene. They still didn't give it to me. The state recommended a forensic audit. They sent a directive to the management company for a forensic audit. Yet, when I put it on the agenda for the next meeting, certain board members shut it down. Why? Why? What are they hiding? So that raised a red flag. And I started dogging around, going through the back door to check what was happening. And if you remember back in February's meeting, I told the board members that I foresee a shortfall of $2 million. If you remember. And Mr. Oreo says, we have to look for more transparency. That's his exact words. And if these people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, I want to get rid of them. That's his exact words. Now instead, he shut down the forensic. And you have to ask yourself why. I also predicted in April that we were going to be in a hole another $1 million. So it would have been $3 million. But they didn't see it yet. And I said, you will see it in July. I predicted July. We got the financial report from the project manager, Mr. Maldonado. And I went through it. Guess what we're missing? $3 million. So I can see things ahead of them. I'm an engineer. That's what we do, we play with numbers. Then I further went and I checked the bank account and find out these people have been going into our reserve account every year. They've been running this place in the negative. And they're going into our reserve account without the permission of the board. And they're just withdrawing the money and spending the money. When I checked all the bank balances, we only had $1.6 million left. When First Residential took over, we had $9 million. They were going to run us into bankruptcy. So the executive board had to take a stand and put a stop to it. Now they may tell you that Peter Jolly stole the money. Do I look like a thief to you? Do I look like a thief?
Third, copy of the minutes of the internal villages selection of directors and officers for years 2012 and 2014. And fourth, official certification of avatars/AB Homes votes cast in the 2012 and 2014 APV elections. Your attention and promptness to this matter is most appreciated. Signed by the President, P. Jolly. That was mailed August 4th and hand-delivered, right? Both? Or August 6th, I'm sorry, August 6th. Today is the 25th. Nothing has arrived. I urge you, and as a matter of fact, I would like to ask if the attorneys will please do this part, because I'm not an attorney, what they're compelled to do by that statute that was quoted.
Sorry guys, you put me on the spot. Give me a second while I pull it up.
We'd like to do that.
You need this? I have a hard copy.
That's okay, I got it. Just give me a second.
Seeing that, just like you said,
The floor will be open for questioning, okay?
All right, here we go. The official record shall be maintained within the state for at least 7 years and shall be made available to a parcel owner for inspection or photocopying within 45 miles of the community or within the county in which the association is located within 10 business days after receipt by the board or as designee of a written request. This subsection may be complied with by having a copy of the official records available for inspection or copying in the community, or at the option by the association by making the records available to a parcel owner electronically via the internet, or by allowing the records to be viewed in electronic format on a computer screen and printed upon request. And then it goes into how much they're allowed to charge per page and things like that. And it says if they don't turn it over within 10 business days, they are allowed to get billed $50 per calendar day, up to 10 days. The calculation will begin on the 11th business day after receipt of the written request.
So here it is, a written request made not just by any of us that are residents, by the president on the 6th, and here is the 25th, and no records are forthcoming. Next, you will find how some committees are established, okay? And you will find the very first one is an audit committee. Remember that, audit committee. The audit committee was composed of Mr. Destremps here, Mr. Gordon, and Ms. McStay. All were in favor of accepting. The problem that they have had is that they can't get that audit committee to be able to search the records. Then you have the 2015 Executive Committee, the one that's here today. The Executive Committee was Mr. Peter Jolly, Mr. Anthony Iorio, who is absent, and Mr. Victor Destremps. Two of them are trying their best to meet their legal requirements as a director, which is to protect you, the membership, and the corporation that they represent. Next, there is a legal committee, Mr. Jose Padilla, Linda Contriva, and Dan Young. There's a problem with, at least in my opinion, you have three individuals that are the legal committee, but not one of them has any legal background.
High school, if that.
So you have people that are looking at contracts, that are making legal decisions with no legal background. Needless to say, if they were to meet to make any legal opinion to the board, at a minimum, they should have the attorney present. Don't you think? These two gentlemen were never included in any meeting. So you have to start asking yourself, what is happening? Next, you will see your board as it is composed today. Okay. Where you see the letter A, that was handwritten. That stands for Avatar AV Homes. Okay? Take a look through it. Here is where we stand. Your management company makes all kinds of accusations. They throw all kinds of innuendos out there, but all they're giving you is words. We're giving you documents. Their own documents. So you make the choice.
I just want to conclude with this board of directors list that you have here. When I first came here, I wondered why Avatar is controlling everything. Because after 2011, Avatar turned control of this association to the folks in Point Siena. But when you look at the makeup of the board of each village, it was totally controlled by Avatar. And I asked myself, what's happening here? So I went and asked them for the specific 6 items to confirm that the people on their board was legitimate. We were able to get the election result for 2012 for only Village 7. Where Mr. Tony Oreo gave each person running for the board 1,500 votes. 1,500 votes. And he only cast his vote after the end of the regular election. Because there's somebody in that APV office who knows how to make things work, if you know what I mean. So we went and we checked with the county to find out how many votes does this guy really have? How many lots does he really have? And I get to find out for Village 7, he only has 275 lots. So if you have 275 lots, how can you give a person 1,500 votes?
Because Avatar uses their common areas, their tracts that they own, and not single lots.
I have looked at what Avatar owns. They use their voting count on tracts, commercial properties, by the way, common areas and green belts, which should be in your name. They use those lots as counts. They don't use the residential, they use the residential lots, but they use the common areas and green belts, the ones that you pay to take care of. They have yet to turn those properties over to the APV, and they should be in the APV's name, in title.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have so-called 9 villages here. Is that correct? Everyone knows that, right? We have 9 villages in Point Siena. Villages. That's what they told us. So we have to believe what they tell us. We have to believe what they tell us. Now when I did my research, there's no Village 4. Village 4 does not exist.
Right.
Village 4 is in Solo Vida. Why is Tony Oreo representing Village 4? When Village 4 does not exist? Village 6. Anybody know what Village 6 is?
I do.
It's the reserve. All owned by Disney. It's not part of the villages.
It's not owned by Disney. Disney turned the land to Walker Ranch over to the conservatory.
Right.
They don't own that land at all.
There's no houses in there.
There's no houses in it.
Walker Ranch.
Excuse me, sir. You'll be
Just correcting you.
No. When I acknowledge you, sir, you'll speak. Otherwise, you have to step outside, sir. No. There is no Village 6. Why is Avatar on the board representing Village 6? Village 8. Avatar has only 7 lots over there. 7 lots. Why are they on the board of Village 8? I'll tell you why. To create the split. You have 6 residential directors. 3 is not for sale. 3 is not for sale. The other 3, I'll let you make that evaluation. So now you have a split. Because of the 1985 agreement, Avatar cannot vote. They have to vote towards the majority. So if there is any inclination that one of the directors is going to go on the right side, we'll get things done. We can conduct business. But it's not to the best interest of Avatar for us to conduct business for you people. So they create a split. And guess what? We, the executive board, will fix it next meeting. We will take care of all of that. Now we have some special guests before I open the floor. Everybody will have a chance to speak. But let's take care of our guests first. The first guest speaker we have there is Valerie Captree. Valerie, where are you?
Well, this is the 4th meeting I've been to, and it's good to see all of you here tonight. It's wonderful to see all of you here tonight. You should give yourself a hand. The first meeting I went to was one there in the Shouter House there in, what is it, the Village 7? Weren't very many people there. This is great. Well, who am I? I'm Valerie Crabtree, for those of you that haven't met me. I am a candidate for the United States House of Representatives, Florida Congressional District 9. There's not a whole lot that you're talking about tonight that deals with federal law. There's not a lot that directly, as your congressperson, I'll be able to do. But one thing is that I strongly believe that in order to best represent you, I need to understand the issues that you're dealing with. And that is why I am here to listen and also to support you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now, I have a young man that came from what we call the Big Apple. And he got a big head and a big mind. And I think it's going to be one of the surgeons who's going to help us fix Florida Statute 720. I want to introduce to you no other than our state representative, Mr. John Cortez.
Good evening, everybody. It's always a pleasure to come here because everybody is under control, no craziness, everybody's a compadre, and I love it, and it's organized. And everybody's got an opinion, and they will get the chance to speak. I will not speak too long, so you can all speak. We all have our differences, but we all have to air them out, because that's how we learn about things. I mean, everybody's not correct sometimes, but that's how we learn. Like my grandma told me, the guy who knows everything doesn't know nothing. I'm here to support you. I'm trying my best to try to change the statute 720, or make it better for protection of everybody, all homeowners associations across Florida. I'm trying to work with Republicans and Democrats to try to get this done. And it's frustrating that we have to go through this. And it frustrates even more because I feel like I'm not doing anything. And I don't want to be one of those guys. I'm trying my best. I got a great LA named Josh Adair who's always with the legal terminology. He helps me out. He gets everything written and talks to Jolly, the lawyers, and see what we can do to make everything better and fair. We have to be fair and get things done so everybody lives a happy life. And Poinciana's more than 70, probably more than 70,000 people now. And we'll have to see about the city situation. We're working on that also. So I want to get this situation corrected first and work on the city later on if we can do it. But I'm not leaving that out because I talked to Tallahassee, and Tallahassee told me that you're over 70,000 people, you might become a city on your own sooner or later. So that's a possibility. But let's work on this, let's get this together, and I'm appreciating it. Support your board, they gotta go to court on Friday. Make sure you get there, support them. I'm gonna try to get this and support them so we can see what's going on in this court case. Win, get rid of this mess, do everything correctly so everybody has a better life to live. The thing is, quality of life is the main thing here right now. And thank you for inviting me, and I'm always here. If you need me, I'm a local, vocal, and functional candidate, and I'm here for you.
Thank you, John. We have another guest speaker, the District Secretary to represent Mike LaRosa, District 42. No other than Rocky Hunt.
Thank you, sir. We share deep concern for each of you and the issues, the fissures that has been created. We're here to listen and learn. I've been taking a lot of notes, and I'll be sharing them with the representative. And we also are wanting to learn what we can do in this upcoming session, possibly to improve these various statutes that affect you. We also have an open door policy. Our phone number is 407-891-2555. Representative LaRosa is also very concerned about creating more jobs, roads, and education in the area. Feel free to call us or visit us. I know I was able to help several citizens after our last visit, so thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now we got a young man that's been fighting for Point Siena since he came to Point Siena. He was one of the force Avatar to put in with his counties the I-4 highway that's come up there. This young man is working tirelessly. He is the president of PRFSC, and this is no other than Mr. Kit Leader.
Thank you very much. It's been a long time since I was called a young man, so I really appreciate that. For those of you who are not familiar with the PRFSC, we are a civic group in Point Siena. We try to look after the interests of the community. We've been involved in a number of projects historically. A number of our members were involved originally with bringing the hospital to Point Siena. A number of our members were involved bringing the Village 7 Sports Park from Polk County to Point Siena. More recently, we were involved in a couple of projects that I'm going to just be involved in this week. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm going up to central part of Orlando to sit on a staff committee making recommendations to Valencia College. We have Valencia College coming into Point Siena. I can tell you, and it hasn't been officially announced yet, but they're going to break ground, or they're going to start to break ground in the summer of next year. And that is thanks in no small part to our legislative delegation who secured $12 million out of this year's budget for Valencia College. On Friday morning of this week, I'm going to be speaking at the Rotary Club of Point Siena, and I'll be talking about the Point Siena Parkway. Point Siena Parkway was a project that was promised for 20 years in Point Siena. We invited Senator Paula Dockery, who at that point in time in 2012 was our state senator, to Point Siena in 2012. Through the help of officials from both Polk County, Osceola County, Avatar, and the Florida Department of Transportation, within 2.5 years, we got that project started. I can tell you that by third quarter of next year, you'll be paying tolls and driving across that parkway. And by the end of next year, you'll be able to go from Cypress Parkway directly up to 1792 to get to I-4. So there's a lot of good things going on in Point Siena, and all I can say is let's not lose sight of the forest for the trees. We've got a lot of challenges ahead of us yet, but if we hang together and work on this thing, we're going to solve these problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, my next speaker is Noel. Where's the bulldog? They call it the bulldog of Point Siena.
I have to correct him, it's bulldozer. Okay, folks.
I stand corrected.
All right. My name is Annette Brown Best for the people who have not met me before. I was the co-founder of the Friends of the Poinciana Hospital, who made the hospital here in Poinciana a reality, along with Val Ramos, who, by the way, Val Ramos, when we went up to Tallahassee to fight for this hospital, Val Ramos was on the stand for 4 hours. They tried to impeach him because he said we had more than 50,000 people here, and they didn't believe him because Jeanette Kokenauer made an announcement that day that with the foreclosures, our numbers were dropping. So they tried to impeach him, but he won, okay? The hospital is expanding, as you know, and should be opening up new areas in November. We have so much going on here that's good. And for these people to come in at our house and throw us out, I cannot even imagine somebody coming in my house and telling me to get out. And that's what FSR has done. When they first announced that we were going to get a management company, I protested it and I sent an email to all the board saying, don't do it. You have never had a management company here. You don't even know how to watch them to make sure they're doing the right things. I've worked for a management company, I know exactly what they do. And then right behind that, they bought in First 100 to handle our debt and sell our debt to, FSR sold our debt to First 100. I sent another email to all the board, don't do it. The end game is to put liens against your houses and then take them for less money. They did not listen, they brought in those people. They said, oh, we're selling your debt for a $4 million worth of debt, I believe, for $1 million? $1.3 million. Then they bought another company to take the more debt from us. So now what happens is, when you get a letter saying that you are in arrears, that first letter costs how much?
$175.
And then the APB has to pay $800.
That's on the second letter?
On the second letter. So people here went from owing $250 up to some cases $2,000, $4,000, even $6,000. Men have come to my house from Bright House, and I said, you live here in Poinciana? Oh yeah, I live in Village 7. I said, so what's happening with your dues? One guy said, I'm up to $6,000, and I have to leave. He said, when it hit $2,000, he said, oh, my girlfriend says pay it. So when he went to pay it, they said, no, you now owe $4,000. Okay? And it just went on and on till Mr. Jolly stepped in and helped. How many people did you help?
20.
20 people. How many people do we have in arrears now?
About 8,000.
What's the reason? Why are people in arrears? Are they putting people in arrears for no reason, for being 1 day late? For being 1 month late? People have been sick and could not get their bills paid. Nobody called them and said, hey, we noticed something is wrong with you. You never had this problem before. Why aren't you paying your dues? I did that 30 years ago when I worked in housing, and I was in charge of the dispossessions and evictions. When I realized that so many people weren't paying, I sent out a letter. And I said, can you come into the office? And when they came in the office, I found out half of them were senior citizens who would get their check until the 3rd of the month. It was something as simple as that, making a letter out, sending it out, and getting on the phone and talking to people. I revised everything and saved them $11 million over 5 years. So I'm telling you, nobody here gets in contact with anyone to see, hey, why aren't you paying? Is there some reason for it? With Geraldine, her mother-in-law was not getting, elderly woman, was not getting her notices. They sent it up to New York. She had no idea that she was getting her notices. She was an older woman. She didn't even notice it was missing. How much in arrears was she, Geraldine?
I think it was about 6,000.
That's
what the charges, though.
That's what the charges. That's what all the fees they put on top of it. These are the kind of things that this company is doing on purpose. When they came in, I said, are you affiliated with First 100? Are you affiliated, the second group, I asked if you were affiliated with FSR. They said, well, yeah, they're part of our organization. Nobody did anything. Let's move forward to this buildings they put in over here. When they came in here and said, we're going to give you a new community center and a pool and all that stuff, and Williams Company is going to build it, I said, well, what happened to the RFPs, requests for proposals? No request for proposals. Don Gordon had been asking for a feasibility study for a whole year. He got so upset one day, he came in here when his father died to say that these people here should be thrown out. Nothing was done. And the next minute they went and signed a contract with Williams and Company on the line where the dollar amount was supposed to go. They had TBD, to be determined. How much? Oh wait, say it.
They never brought the contract to the board for review. One person signed the contract. One. They didn't even take it to the lawyer to review it.
There's no way I would have let you sign that contract with a TBD on the price.
TBD. Then they put in a change order for how much?
$3.7 million.
Our money. TBD means to be determined. That means there's no price. It's an open-ended contract. Contract has to have a price. Okay? So that was the next thing they did. So then I stood up and I said, excuse me, why are you building all this here? I went to Osceola County a year ago and asked them to revamp Vance Harmon Park and help us put a pool in there. And they had been negotiating with FSR for a year. Ms. Renata Ward, who was the president at that time, said, Ms. Brown, I don't know what you're talking about. So then Mark Maldonado said, yeah, well, we've been talking to them for a year and we're in negotiations and they're bringing in CBDG money and all kind of money to build, to redo the park, which, by the way, is going to start, I think, in September and October for revamping. The only thing we would have had to pay for was the pool. The building, the gym, everything, the revamping, we didn't have to pay for it. So what was the reason for putting this thing here? Now, this was supposed to be, the building was supposed to be 12,000 square feet. It's downsized to 10,000 square feet. The pool was supposed to be 250, I think it's down to 175? 145.
145.
Same price. But no, they told Mr. Iorio, who signed off on that, said to save money. How are you going to save money on a TBD? So, you know, they want, and these gentlemen laugh when I say it, they want to keep us bare feet and pregnant. They don't want us to know what's going on in this community. They come to your house, they sit down in your living room and they say, what is it you want, Miss Brown? Yes. We will give it to you. And they never give it to you. I asked them last year about the budget. When I looked, in first place, they only gave us 24-hour notice to come to a meeting. When I sent the email out real quick, they had a little tiny room and it filled up. I started asking them questions. I said, wait a minute, this budget doesn't make sense. You've got a bunch of stuff moving around here. Where's this public works? Where's the recreation? Oh, well, we moved that over here. It was in the wrong place. Without any idea of what they were looking at. We have not had an audit for 2014. Okay? The last audit was 2013 when they first came here. So they continue to do things. So now they want to go after the president. The president and the vice president and Village 7 president. So when Mr. Jolie came on, he said to me, you know, Mark is not a bad guy. He said, he's a smart guy. I said, oh, really? I said, okay. Harry said to me, what did you say? He's a nice guy.
He comes down to my house all the time.
Came down to his house all the time. Okay? I'm sure a lot of these people in here got hats on their shoulders. We're going to give you everything you want.
They gave us nothing.
You know, he went after the leaders so that they would promote him. Okay? So here we are. I said to Mr. Jolly, I said, well, have you seen their contract for FSR? He said, no. I said, well, it's your fiduciary responsibility to know who's running this place. He said, okay. He went and asked for the contract. How many weeks?
Almost a month and a half.
A month and a half before he got it. When he looked at it, he said, oh my God. I said, where did that addendum come from? I said, I was concerned because when we first hired them, I said, can we get rid of them if we don't like them? So Mr. Oreo said, yeah, well, we can put that in the contract. So Mr. Ellis said, sure, we can put that in the contract. It was put in the contract. I was concerned. So the first contract that we had with them, it said, we can get rid of them with 30 days notice without cause. This new contract had an addendum, and the addendum said, you can't get rid of us without cause. And then they added how many people?
43.
43 people with that addendum. And guess who signed it? Renata Ward, the president who lives all the way over in Broadmoor. None of the board that was there at that time ever saw that addendum. And that's what they're going on. The original contract was supposed to be over in 2014. This addendum they put in there moved it to 2016. And you still can't get rid of them without cause. Okay? And that's what they're doing now. Avatar comes along and supporting them because for some reason, FSR, which was Continental at that time, was over in Solavita. They were let go from Solavita and brought over here. Mr. Getman recommended them, and whatever Mr. Getman says goes. And they voted them in. So my question has always been, why did Solavita let them go? And were we the caveat for Solavita? In order to get rid of them from there, or out of their contract, that they said we'll give you the biggest HOA in the country. And they don't even care. They won't watch you. They don't know anything about this. They're not sophisticated enough to watch you. You go in there and you do your thing, and that's what they're doing. So I'm saying to you, they have already gone in the back room and voted them out. How? They are the executive committee. And the agreement says that they can run the business for the board when the board is not in session. They announced a meeting, emergency meeting, to get rid of FSR because they were bleeding us dry. And now they're saying they didn't have the right to do it. They're saying that we don't have a right to be in this room. Who is FSR? They're coming in our house and telling us to get out. And we have to stop it. So on the good side, as Keith said, we got a new bus shelter coming in over there. I've worked on that for about 3 or 4 years, so that people don't have to sit on their shopping carts anymore. And we have, I found out from looking at the consent agenda, we have a new fire station coming in over on Pleasant Hill. In addition to the fire department we have coming in Village 7. So I have some other rumors going on, but I don't want to tell you those today because then you probably go, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Well, somebody's trying to put a street in from Pleasant Hill to Poinciana Boulevard, some contractor, and they say they don't even have public notices to do it. There's a housing development coming up on Ham Brown, all right, a low density housing development. It's changing it from one story houses over to a low density. So who's doing all that? There's a whole bunch of stuff that these people come in here and do. So last week I went to Osceola County to speak about what's going on out here and asked for their help along with Keith and Geraldine. Keith asked for a workshop, just like they did with the Poinciana Parkway, to figure out what the county can do to help us. Yesterday we went down to Bartow. John Perez is on a special group down there, and we asked again, can somebody help us? Because these people are just coming in here, excuse my expression, raping us, and we're not even able to do anything about it. So at that meeting that I went to at Osceola County, I asked them, when at the end of the day, Avatar comes in here, put them under a microscope, because you do not know what their intentions are until it's too late. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we have to be there to support these people here because they're working for us. They are not Avatar. They are not FSR. They are residents here in Poinciana. Please support them.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to give the mic to one man who has done a whole heap for you people in Village 7 and for the folks in Poinciana. This is no other than the president of Village 7, Mr. John Perez.
Folks, I'm the president of Village 7. I now sit on the master board. I'm also the president of HACER, which is the acronym for Hispanic American Cultural, Educational, and Recreational Club. And And hacer in Spanish means to do, to accomplish. And I think we're doing a good job all together. We're going to get things done. I also advocated for the firehouse in Village 7. When I first started that project, I was told, there's no money, we can't do it, it can't be done. And I said, yeah, you don't want to do it because you haven't heard from the people. So we started organizing, we started writing letters, we started making phone calls, we started talking to people. We're getting the firehouse, it's in the process right now. After they said it can't be done. We also managed to advocate for it and work with different people, and we're getting a $1.4 million grant from FEMA to accomplish that firehouse. So when they tell you you can't do it, you can do it. They tell you they can't do it because they don't hear you. If they don't hear you, they don't see you. If they don't see you, you don't count. But when you raise your voices and let them hear you, then you count, then they give you what you want. And that's why we have a lot of representatives, elected officials, and candidates coming out here, because they hear you. If you stay home, you don't count. If you don't vote, you don't count. So my slogan has been, enough is enough. Let's hear it. Enough is enough. We're tired of all this stuff. They try to step on us, it's not going to happen. Right now they're suing me and your other 2 board members. I love it. I want the controversy. Now we can get it out. Friday we have to go to court. Now can you imagine 3 retired individuals on fixed income going against a company out of Canada that listed on the NASDAQ as having $1.1 billion. Not million, $1 billion. And you got 3 guys, 3 residents that they can't buy. We're going up against them. They have a law firm with 10 attorneys, countless paralegals. And we're going to fight back. David versus Goliath. With your help, we're going to fight back. Because we're not going to take it anymore. Now the other thing is, Polk County has been very quiet on this matter. So about 4 or 5 months ago, Polk County saw that I've been getting involved in things and going to meetings and making noise. So they voted me into the Community Relations Advisory Council. What that is that I represent the minorities, the community of Poinciana to Polk County. So I've been asking, can you guys do anything for us? No, we can't do anything. It's not a government issue. It's an HOA matter. We can't help you. I said, the same thing I heard the first time. If they don't hear you, if they don't see you, you don't count. So we had a meeting yesterday. At that meeting you have community leaders from throughout Polk County. Community leaders, business leaders, all kind of leaders there. The head of that committee is Todd Danzler. So I said, all right, so let's see if you can hear us at the meeting. So I gathered a few people together, your leaders from here from Poinciana. We drove like an hour away from here. We went to Bartow, and we sat there and we listened. And after they saw the people there and they heard some voices, I stood up and I represented the community. Guess what? Now all of a sudden they might be able to help us. So what I'm trying to say is, if you don't come out, if you don't let your voices be heard, they don't hear you. You got to come out. We started as a small group. Look what we have here. And the word's going to keep spreading. It's going to keep spreading, it's going to keep spreading, it's going to keep spreading. But you got to come out. And folks, if you don't vote, you don't count. Believe me, they're looking for your votes. You got to come out. They know you're here. They know. They're sending people to come out and talk to you, to watch, to listen. I mean, the only thing that bothers me is when someone says, well, we're a little concerned, we're looking into it. Come on, this has been going on for a long time. Don't you have anything better to say than we're a little concerned? This is a big concern. So they're going to try to step on us. We're not going to take it. Yeah, I'm going to go to court. I'm going to fight. I'm not going to let them step on us. I'm not going to let them abuse you. We're going to fight back. Whatever we have, we're going to fight back as long as we have you helping us out. Whatever you can do, help us out. Write letters, make phone calls, come to the court, whatever you can do. But they already know. When you get back home, pass it around to your friends, to your neighbors. We might have 100, 200, 300 people here. Maybe next time we have 4 or 500. It's going to be very interesting, the next meeting that they call, the other side. We're going to see how packed this room is going to be. It's going to be even worse than this.
August 31st.
August 31st is a meeting at 11 a.m. I wonder why they want to have it at 11 a.m. Let me tell you something. I used to go in there and talk to Mark Maldonado. And I said to him I wanted to have a meeting, Village 7, at 7 p.m. You know what his answer to me was? Why 7 p.m.? I said, so the folks can come out, so they can come after work. You know what he said? Why don't you just do it at 11 or 10? Why do you got to make it convenient for the residents? Make it it's a business meeting. Make it convenient for the members. That's what he told me. So who is he looking out for? Is he looking out for you? No. Of course not. So we got to stick together. We got to keep fighting. We got to come to the meetings. You got to let your reps know that you're here. And then you'll get action. Otherwise, you don't count. So my slogan, can we all hear it? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Thank you.
At this point, I'm going to have an open forum. You put your hands up, you'll be acknowledged and recognized. We have two mics. One person on the right have a mic, person on the left have a mic, and you just put on the hand. Here you mics. You gotta take the mic. Music. Okay, I recognize Miss Donna Kidd.
I'm so glad to see you.
Quiet please, quiet please.
I am very happy to see all of you here. I'm going to tell you, Village 3 has not had an open election in over 20 years. They closed the election last year. Believe me, I was there. I was furious. I tried to run for Village 3. Most of you already know what they tried to do to me. I am going to run for Village 3 again.
I want to know what the ramifications are going to be for us as homeowners. And looking forward, at this point, exactly who is working to maintain things around Poinciana. And then also, what will happen with the dues this year? I mean, we have to think forward. December comes sooner than expected, and we should be getting an association bill. If this isn't resolved, they send out association notices with dues. What do we do?
Will, you want to answer the question? Okay. But we have a cut date on Friday at 2 o'clock. With God's blessing, we will survive. Once we survive, we will have a budget put together. We're going to try to keep it the same, 252. We're going to do a lot of chopping. When Val run the association, the help cost about $2 million. Today, the help cost is a balloon $5 million. So we'll have to make some adjustment. Okay. They're towing cars outside. If you're in the back, go move your cars.
Towing cars in the back.
Just look at these tactics. This is what we're dealing with.
By them. They're towing the cars. Don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. This is how they destroy the meeting.